Hello, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, we'll be drafting a basic body, and trust me, it's beginners friendly. So I already ruled out my vertical measurements. So from your shoulder to your bust points, so what I'm working with is 10. From the shoulder to the half length is 16, and the full length is 24 inches plus 1 inch for allowance. The M allowance. So this is my zipper allowance. I folded it in. So the zipper allowance I'm working with is 1.5 inch, or you can make yours 1 inch if you want to. So the next thing we'll be doing right here is the shoulder I'm working with is 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5 inch. So the next thing we're doing is to take out our back neckline. So I'm using 3 inches, the breadth is 3 inches and the length is 1.5. So you use a curve rule and curve it out like this. If you don't have a curve rule, you can as well use your free hand. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to get our chest line. So from the bust point, we're going up by 1.5. You can as well use your bust measurements divided by 6 plus 1.5. So I took what I have on my chest line under that, on my shoulder line to my chest line, to have a straight line. So you reel it out like this. I'm using my marker to make it visible. So that will be our chest line. So the next thing we're doing right now is to come down by 1 inch to get our shoulder slope. From that 1 inch, you connect it back to your neckline like this. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to get our nipple to nipple. The nipple to nipple I'm working with is 8. 8 divided by 2, that's 4. So you take it all the way to the M line and connect the lines together. So what we'll be doing right now is to take our vertical measurement. So our bust, before then we'll take out our dart line. What I use is 3/4, that's 0.75 on both sides. So what I use is 1.5 inch. 1.5 divided by 2, that's 0.75. So connect it like this, like you see me doing. You do the same thing for the down part. You can come up by 2 inch, that's from the M line. You can come up by 1.5 inches and connect the line, connect the dart back to that line like this. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to get our vertical measurement. So our bust divided by 4, what I have is 9 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. I'll do the same thing to the bust line, the same thing I did on the chest line, same measurement. So go to the waistline, get your waist measurement. The waist I'm working with is 30 divided by 4, that's 7.5. You add your dart allowance back, which is 1.5. Remember I said I used 1.5 for my dart allowance plus 1 inch for stitching. We'll do the same thing to the hip part. Take your hip measurement. The hip I'm working with is 42 divided by 4 plus 1 inch allowance. So I'm going to use my marker to make the lines visible. So this is it. So right now I'll curve out my armhole with my French curve. So for the back, this is how you do your back armhole. For the front is different from the back armhole. So when we get to that part, you will see it. So this is basically it for the back. So we'll be setting it aside now. So the next what we're doing now is to draft our front pattern. So I already ruled out the vertical lines too, but I'm going to rule it out with my marker to make it visible. So that's it, ruling out the M line and everything, just like we did for the back. So the next thing we're doing right now is I'm just showing you that is the same thing we took at the back: bust line, half length and M line. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to take our shoulder measurement, which is 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5. So we'll take out our neck line, 3 inches, 3 by 3. That's the basic neckline. I mean the standard neckline. So you mark it out, curve it out with your French curve like this. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to go up from our bust point, go up by 1.5, and to get a straight line, you take what you have on your shoulder line down to your chest line and make a straight line like this. So this will be our chest line. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to take our nipple to nipple, which is 8 divided by 2, that's 4. Do the same thing to the M line, 8 divided by 2, that's 4. So connect it together, connect the 3 dots together like this. So after doing this, the next thing we'll be doing is to take out our dart, 1 inch divided by 2, that's 0.75 on both sides. So for the bust point, we're not going to start from the bust point, we're going to come down by 1.5 inches. For the down parts to go up by either 1.5 or 2 inches. Then you connect it, connect the darts you have from the waistline to, you connect the darts from that like this, like you see me doing, just connect it like this. I believe you can see what I'm doing. My pen is not so bright. So connect the other side, do the same thing to the upper part like this. So that's it for the dart. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to come down from the shoulder by 1 inch to get the shoulder slope, connect it back to the neckline like this. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is take from that shoulder slope to your chest line, take the half measurement and you go in by 1/2 inch. So the next thing we're doing right now is to get our vertical measurement, our bust divided by 4 plus 1 inch stitching allowance. We'll do the same thing to the bust line. So for the waistline, that's chest line, bust line, I'm trying to leave it out on the full length. That's the full length and the M line. So the next thing we'll be doing after that is to take out our waist measurement. We'll cover out our armhole like this. Sorry, my hand was blocking it. I didn't know my hand was blocking the camera. So connect it like this. Just follow what I'm doing. So after that, the next thing we're doing right now is to take our waist measurement, which is 7.5 plus 1.5 inch for allowance and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Do the same thing, your hip measurement and 1 inch sewing allowance. So we're joining the lines together like this. So that is it for the front pattern. You can leave your front pattern like this, but for this I'll be adding a bust dart. So from your bust line to your waistline, you will divide what you have there by 2. So what I had was 6 divided by 2, that's 3. So you connect it to that point where your dart is starting from. So you come out by 1 inch or 1.5 inch from that point. Then the next thing we'll do is take out half inch on both sides for the bust dart and connect it back to that line like this. So that's basically it. That's not all, but so that's 1 inch we took at that top. We'll place it back on the bottom, because by the time you take in your bust measurements, it's going to short your pattern, and it will not be equal with your back pattern. So you take out what you have there, that 1 inch, and replace it at the bottom and connect it back to the line to your hemline. So the next thing we're doing now is cutting it out. So when we get to that part, you can cover it up and blend the line. I tried using my pin, which wasn't holding it in place, so I had to use my masking tape to keep it in place. So you can blend up the lines back. So we cut it out like this. Cut out the neckline. So that's it. So this is the bust that we are almost done with it. So I'm cutting out that line, that extra 1 inch we added. So the next thing we'll be doing right now is to, don't worry about that place. By the time you hold your bust, that it's going to come back in place. So but we don't want that edge looking so sharp like that. So what we're doing is we'll go up by 3/4 or 1 inch and use a French rule to roll it out to the hemline, to meet with the hemline. So this is it. We're doing the same thing to the back as well. So for the back, we'll be taking out 1/2 inch from the waistline. We don't want the waistline gaping or having this bulgy effect after fixing our zip. So we'll take out 1/2 inch from the waistline and connect it to nothing to the top. So we're doing the same thing to the down part to connect it to nothing. So we'll be cutting it out. So we'll cut out the sides. So we're going up the same thing we did for the front. We went up by 3/4, that's 0.75, and we used our French curve to curve it to the hemline. That's the same thing we'll be doing here. Cut out the armhole of the back. Be careful while doing that, and I will just rule out the neck measurements to the zipper allowance and cut it out like this, and cut out my shoulder slope. So that's basically all. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.